Hello everyone, my name is Davindu Pratama Wicaksono, and here I would like to bring you about the material of HRM strategy, talking about the legal environment, equality, and human rights. Happy watching! There are major laws that promote fair treatment at work, called Equal Employment Opportunity, or we could say EEO. This law ensures that individuals are treated fairly in employment decisions without discrimination based on race, gender, age, disability, religion, or other protected characteristics. In Canada, laws like the Canadian Human Rights Act and Employment Equity Act protect people from being treated unfairly because of their gender, race, disability, religion, or other personal characteristics. This law influencing HRM by shaping recruitment, hiring, promotions, compensations, and training programs to ensure fairness and inclusivity. HR must follow these rules to make sure no one is discriminated against. While the EEOC and the OFCCP is the agency from US based, Canada has similar institutions such as Canadian Human Rights Commissions, or we call CHRC, and the Labor Program of Employment and Social Development Canada, ESDC. These organizations investigate discrimination complaints, carrying out compliance with employment laws, and ensure that federal contractors promote diversity and inclusion. Next, we're gonna talking about the business necessity, BFOQ, and burden of proof. Business necessity means a rule or job requirement is needed for safety or performance. For example, like a firefighter must be physically fit to be qualified at the job. And now we're gonna talk about BFOQ, bona fide occupational qualifications. It allows employers to hire only certain types of people if it's necessary for the job. For example, like hiring only female staff for a woman's shelter. And the last is burden of proof, means that in a legal case, the person who made decisions, or we call it the employer, must show that it was fair and not discriminatory. There are two types of discriminations, direct and indirect. So direct discrimination, it happens when an employer intentionally treats an individual unfairly due to a protected characteristic. For example, like refusing to hire someone due to their religion. And for the indirect discriminations, it happens when seemingly neutral policies disproportionately disadvantage certain groups. For example, like hate risk requirements that disproportionately exclude women. Next, we're gonna talking about reasonable accommodations and its implications for HRM. Reasonable accommodations requires employers to modify workplace policies, practice, or conditions to enable employees with disabilities, religious needs, or other protected characteristics to work effectively. For example, like including adjusting work schedules for religious observances, providing assistive device for employees with disabilities, or modifying job duties. Next topic is about components of affirmative actions program. Affirmative actions, or employment equity in Canada, refers to a proactive efforts to improve employment opportunities for historically disadvantaged groups. The components is including like workforce analysis to identify underrepresentation, targeted requirement and outreach to diverse candidates, mentorship and training programs for minority employees, and the last is promotion policies that ensure fair advancement opportunities. Right now, we're gonna talking about sexual harassment and how the organizations could eliminate it and how they minimize it in the company. Sexual harassment includes like hostile work environment and quid pro quo harassment. For hostile work environment examples, it's like inappropriate jokes or touching that makes employee uncomfortable. While quid pro quo harassment is like a boss offering a promotion in exchange for a date, or maybe more. And I think organizations should have zero tolerance towards this sexual harassment problem. And they also should conduct regular training, establish clear reporting procedures, and enforce disciplinary actions against the offenders. Okay, the last, we gotta talking about diversity management programs and their relationship to equal employment opportunity. Diversity programs go beyond following the law. They help create a workplace where everyone feels valued and respected. Programs include cultural competency training, mentorship programs, employee resource groups, and leadership development initiatives for underrepresented groups. Companies that excel in diversity management often rank among the best places to work and attract top talent. A well-managed diverse workforce enhances innovation, employee engagement, and company reputation. So now there's the case in Canada. The case is about the efforts to increase the number of women on corporate boards in Canada and how different strategies have been used to achieve this goal. It compares Canada's approach to Australia's, showing how Australia successfully implemented a step-by-step method using both soft and hard law to increase female representation on boards. In contrast, Canada's initial attempt to pass strict legislations in 2010 failed, leading to stalled progress. I think there's a solutions for these matters. First, I think Canada should gradual approach. Instead of strict rules, start by asking companies to set goals and report progress. If this doesn't work, introduce legal quotas later, like Australia did, and it really worked well. Second is incentives and penalties. Canada could offer tax benefits to companies that improve and penalties for those that don't. Next is more qualified women. Businesses should provide leadership training and mentorship programs to prepare women for board roles. And lastly, it's changing mindsets. Companies should train employees to reduce bias, improve board selection process, and set clear diversity goals. Okay, so that's all about my presentation. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching my video. See you in the next video.